A very wonderful good morning to you all. Respected sir and dear all are my brother and sister. Today I am going on presentation and my presentation topic is Atlantic Ocean. So me and my teammates cover for this topic. So let me introduce my teammates Ankit Bhaiya, Himanshu Bhaiya, Ravish Bhaiya, Swati and Ayushi and me also cover for this presentation. So the first slide is my presentation is content, and content is like that: introduction, history, physical feature of Atlantic Ocean, climate change, marine life and ecosystem, environmental issue of Atlantic Ocean, amazing fact about the Atlantic Ocean, and last one, not the least, economic importance and conclusion part. So my first slide and my first content is, I am covering two contents, introduction and history part of the Atlantic Ocean. So my first content is the introduction part of the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is the second largest ocean in the world, and it's covered the 20% of the Earth's surface area. And there be the Atlantic Ocean is boundary touched too many continents and ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is boundary with the touch of the North America and South America in the west, and there be the Europe and Africa in the east, and there be the Arctic Ocean in the north and the Southern Ocean in the south. So the Atlantic Ocean is geologically, the Atlantic Ocean is formed during the breakdown of the subcontinents. Pangea is about 200 million years ago, the split of the tectonic plate. And the Atlantic Ocean is the homes of numerous seas, including the Caribbean Sea and the Baltic Sea, the Gulf of Mexico. The Atlantic Ocean is the biodiversity and the culturally maintained. In nowadays, the Atlantic Ocean is too many reforms, and they are also too high level in the economics information. The Atlantic Ocean is one of the most significant oceanic currents within the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of streams, the Mediterranean, and there will be the Eastern Europe sides of the Atlantic and the France. The Atlantic Ocean, the oceanic currents be the temperature of the Eastern Europe sides, and there will be the also to Africa. And my next, and there will be the Atlantic Ocean, so the very wonderful ocean, and there will be the second largest ocean after the Pacific Ocean. Too many contribute also to be GDP. The Atlantic Ocean is a very historical parts. Do you know about the Titanic ship? The Titanic ship, I will be explained. Titanic is the world. The Titanic ship is the one of the most famous ships in the world, and there be the unsinkable ships. Is a factual question. The unsinkable ship, but sinks. In which ocean? The Atlantic Ocean. Okay. In 1912, 15 April. Okay. So the Atlantic Ocean is very important to all the fishing and economic fishing persons and also to economic person. So the Atlantic Ocean be the very precious things, be the very wonderful, and there be the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic Oceans means the. So overall my content is the complete is the first, and there will be the next content is the history part of the Atlantic Ocean. The history part of the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is the very mysterious and the dangerous history. The first, there be the two parts of the Atlantic Ocean divided in the history. The firstly is the geological formation of the Atlantic Ocean history, and there will be the second is the pre-history of the human interaction. The firstly, I am discussing about the geological formation of the Atlantic Ocean history. The geological formation, I will also talking about the splitting of the tectonic plate, be the formation about the 200 million year ago, subcontinent of the Pangea, the geographical feature of the Atlantic Ocean. And there will be the pre-history of the human civilization. The pre-history of the human civilization, there be the too many people to be the reforms of the research and the trading in the ancient times, like the fishings and the exploration, some routes. That's the pre-history of the Atlantic Ocean. The Viking exploration, the first persons in the 9th to 11th century to explore the Atlantic Ocean in the 9th to 11th century AD. And the age of exploration in the 15th and the 17th century, the Atlantic Ocean. Do you know the Christopher Columbus? So I'm talking about the Christopher Columbus. In the 1942, the Christopher Columbus to be the Spanish crowds and to be the cross about the Atlantic Ocean in the Africa and the Europes, and in the same time, so of the Jacob Cabot is the explored is the invention of the North America in the with the help of English flag, and there also the name of, you understand, of the Vasco da Gama. The Vasco da Gama is also to invention of the India, is also to cross the Atlantic Ocean trades. And there will be also the next is colonization and the commerce. There are too many fights between to each other Atlantic Oceans, and there will be the some fights to each others, but the firstly is Anglo and the Spanish fightings, and there will be the second is Napoleon fights. They almost a student to be the pass of the class 10. Okay, you do not be the learn of the chapter first of the rise of nationalism in Europe, the Napoleon Bona fights, the 1815. The Napoleon are to be the war in the civil war. Sorry, civil means I mistake correctly. To the Napoleon is the Battle of Waterloo. In there the Australia Chancellor Duke Metternich, and there's some country like the Poland, Britain, Australia to the fight of the Battle of Waterloo. To which river are to be the fight in the Waterloo? Is the Atlantic Ocean, because there will be the touch of the boundary of the European continents. And there will be the last is the Atlantic in the modern era in 19th to 20th century. The Atlantic in the modern era in the World War First and the World War Seconds. You do not do all the students learning the World War First and World War Seconds. So the World War First and the World War Seconds is very important, and the Germany, the key routes of the Atlantic Oceans, do some routes to be tradings and some materials of like that, the guns, and there are some reasons of the routes of the Germany for the World War Seconds. So overall my content is covered, and I want to call the next member please to come to the stage and continue for this session.
My content is physical feature of the Atlantic Ocean. Firstly, I want to briefly explain this map. In east direction, Europe and Africa. In west direction, North America and South America. Also in north direction, the Arctic Ocean, and in last direction, the Southern Ocean. Next, the magnitude of the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is the second largest ocean in the world, covering 106 million square kilometers, which is 20% of the Earth's surface and 29% of the world's ocean area. It has an S shape, stretching from the Arctic Ocean in north to the Southern Ocean in south. The length of the Atlantic Ocean is about 51,000 km, and the width is about 4,800 km. The average depth of the Atlantic Ocean is about 3,646 meters, and the deepest point, Puerto Rico Trench, which is 8,376 meters. It is deeper than Mount Everest. This ocean contains 310 million cubic kilometers of water. Next, islands in the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean has many important islands which are different in size, location, and its type. Greenland is the largest island in the Atlantic Ocean, covering 2.16 million square kilometers, it is located in North Atlantic. It is a part of Denmark, though it has its own government. Iceland is another one. It is a volcanic island which is famous for its glacier and hot spring. The Bermuda Island is also known for the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. The Azores, Madeira, and Canada Island are in Eastern Atlantic, which is famous for its landscape and tourism. These islands are home for unique animals and plants. Next, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge is the longest underwater ridge in the world, covering 16,000 kilometers, stretching from the Arctic Ocean in north to the Southern Ocean near Antarctica. It is a divergent boundary, meaning that the tectonic plates either on sides are moving apart. This movement causes the magma rises from the Earth's mantle and creating new oceanic crust and slowly widening the Atlantic Ocean is about 2.5 centimeter per year. The mid-Atlantic is almost underwater, but in some places it above the ocean. The Iceland is constantly growing due to the magma rises from the mid-Atlantic ridge. My topic is completed. Now I am calling Ayushidi who covers the next topic.
My content is climate change. Climate change is significant, impacting the Atlantic Ocean, leading to various negative effects. Here are some of ways climate change is affecting the Atlantic Ocean. First is melting ice sheets and rising sea levels. Rising sea levels. Thermal expansion. As ocean warms, its water contributing to sea level rise and melting ice sheets. The melting of ice sheets and glacier in the Arctic and Antarctic is also causing sea level rise. Next is ocean acidification and marine life disruption. First, increase carbon dioxide absorption. The Atlantic Ocean absorbs significant amounts of the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Increase a natural process that from carbonic acid when carbon dioxide dissolves in seawater. Marine life impact on marine life. Ocean acidification affects marine life and with calcium carbonates cells and coral reef and next content. My next is change ocean currents. Shift in ocean currents. Change ocean current impact regional climate pattern, leading to more frequent intense heat wave and storm. Weakening a Gulf Stream. Climate change weakening a Gulf Stream. A critical ocean currents can my next content is marine life and ecosystem. The Atlantic Ocean supports diverse marine ecosystem, hold various habitats like coral reefs, seagrass beds and deep sea, home to a large tables including fish, turtle and dolphin with some species migrating the Atlantic Ocean. Key feature of the Atlantic Ocean and ecosystem. First is habitats diversity. The Atlantic Ocean features a wide range of the climate change. And second is species richness. Atlantic Ocean is home to a vast tables marine including first marine mammals, whales, dolphin and manatees. Second, fish, shark, tarpons and various species adapt to different and habitats. Sea turtle, green sea turtle and other species migrating the Atlantic Ocean. Next is migratory species. Many species including sea turtle, marine mammals and fish use the Atlantic Ocean as migratory gallery with some species passing passing through on their annual migration. Next is coral reefs. Coral reefs, the particular and the Caribbeans are diverse marine mammals and fish. Next is foodway. The Atlantic Ocean has complex foodway with tiny plants and algae forming the base, followed by small animals. The large contract likes marine mammals and fish. All over content cover, and I would like to call Swati. My content is environmental issue. It seems like you are asking about environmental issue related to the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic region, which both the Southern Ocean and surrounding ecosystem, faces several critical environmental challenges. Here are some keys of issues. First one is climate change and warming water. The global warming is causing ocean temperature to rise, which impact the Southern Ocean ecosystem. The warming water lead to the melting of sea ice. Second one is pollution. Pollution including to plastic waste and poses a growing threat to the Atlantic Ocean. Which region is often perceived as remote of Atlantic Ocean. Human activities can affect the Atlantic Ocean. Second one is overfishing. Overfishing in the particularly killer fisher in conserve fisher. The Atlantic Ocean is especially exploitation vulnerable to the marine of food. I would like to call Ankit Bhaiya and cover next topic.
My content is some amazing facts about the Atlantic Ocean. First fact: the birthplace of many hurricanes. The Atlantic Ocean is famous for generate powerful hurricanes. The most active hurricanes in season by record 2005. And second fact: the Bermuda Triangle mystery. The Bermuda Triangle is a place and Rycopetrio, many ship, aircraft, planes, and mystery disappeared. Third fact: the Titanic ship sank in the Atlantic Ocean. Many ships have sunk in the Atlantic Ocean. Like that, most popular and famous ship, RMS Titanic ship, which hit an iceberg and sank on 15 April 1912 in the North Atlantic Ocean, and around 1,500 people died. Fourth fact: some famous cities coastline along France, Brazil, Argentina, Poland, Morocco, Cape Town, etc. The Atlantic Ocean is sometimes called the Poland by American and British people. Some of the largest rivers like that Amazon, Niger, and Congo flow into the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is hold 24% in the world of water of volume. The Atlantic Ocean is a massive natural resource reserve. The Atlantic Ocean is second largest river in the world and cover 20% earth surface and 26% cover area the water surface. My content is complete, and I call the next teammate member Himanshu.
So I am Himanshu presenting you the economic importance of the Atlantic Ocean, and I would like to give you some questions like what is blue economy? It's the emerging fact which are in the economies of the oceans. So according to the World Bank, uh, blue economy is the sustainable use of ocean resources, and for the economic growth it is better, and there is betterment of livelihoods also conducting by these economies. So next, in blue economy there are certain industries, like first it's fishing industries. In fishing industry there are many fisheries like shrimp, lobster and haddock and etc, many more are found in the Atlantic Ocean. So but when we talk about the fishing industry, there is northeast called part of the Atlantic Ocean, which is the most productive part in the this is third most productive part in the world. So it produces 8.1 million tons in the 2019 year. But there is a downfall trend we see in the diagram also. In 1950, there is 40% of the fisheries come from the Atlantic Ocean, but now it dropped to only 13%. And the most productive part of the ocean is now Pacific Ocean, which now gives the 40% of the fisheries. So there is a certain reasons for the downtrend of the fishing industries, like overfishing, illegal fishing, habitat degradations, and climate changes. So companies are now seeing for the another opportunities in the fishing industry. They are now producing the plant-based seafood industry, plant-based seafood alternatives. In that industries, they are producing the products which is called the fishy taste. They are actually not the fish, but they gives the taste like fish, so that the vegans can also try that products. And the companies like Tyson and Nestle investing in this, so it makes the important industry in the Atlantic Ocean. So next industry we have transport industry. As we know that the Atlantic Ocean is the most busiest part in the world, and it carries the millions of tons across the Atlantic Ocean. So, but there is a certain risks in the transporting. There is called the cargo damages, third-party liabilities, and perils of the sea. But there is insurance company which gives the cushion to the industries. They come with the insurance like marine insurance, cargo insurance, hull insurance, and other any insurance, which gives the investors to invest in the uh, transport industries. And next we have deep offshore drilling industries. In offshore drilling industry, there is a three process. First, they explore the where is the presence of the fuel in the oceans, and then they take the then in second process they think about the safety measures of the peoples, how they can conduct and drill the oils from the ocean. And after going through this process, last process is to build infrastructure. They build infrastructure and drill the crude oil from the oceans. And after drilling, we have seen that there is a constant growth of the from 2005 to 2025. In 2005, there is 32% comes from the offshore drilling, but now it also decreased to 28% only. But there is certain opportunities in it, because nowadays it is harder to find the inland offshore onshore in the mainland of the world. So people are thinking about now to go to the offshore drilling, and offshore drilling it gives more profits than the onshore drillings. And after this, we have the tourism industry. So this industry is quite impressive in last decades. When we talk about the facts, so in data, in 1990 there is 3.1 million passengers in the traveling through the cruise industry, but now it increased to 29.7 million in 2020, and we are heading to approach the surpass the 40 million of the passengers by the 2028. So it's an industry to where investors can invest, and anyone here wants to go to the cruise industry, they can go. But there is a certain crux in that if they want to go now, they should go to the Mediterranean Sea, because it is famous for the summer vacation, and in winter there is a Caribbean cruise which is famous. And there are certain many more ships, like there is Princess Cruise, P&O Cruise, and Royal Caribbean Cruise, and etc. So after this, you can see the here the average cruiser profit. So in zoom it, where from where, so I will say. So in here you can see that there is a large profit margin from the cruise industry. In cruise industry there is like so approx figure you can give. So 2000 million comes from the revenue and they are spending like $18,000. So in one passenger gives the almost $3,000 to $4,000. So if in cruise industry we see that there is more than 1,000 also go through there, then we said there is almost around 3 million or 3 billion comes from this industry only. So it's important for us. And next we have like we know that they are the industries present here, but we have to think about where the investor should invest. So investors have the many opportunities to invest. If they want to take high risks, then they can go to the offshore drilling, which gives the highly profitable. But if they don't want to take much risk, they can go to the cruise industries. So here I am concluding my topic and I am open for the questions. Conclude. Okay. So now we talk about the conclusion. As we know that the Atlantic Ocean is not just a vast expanse of water, it's the powerhouse for global trade, and it is rich in species, marine species, and it has a huge climatic impacts in the whole around the world. So when we think about this, but there is a certain we have seen that certain influence which are human are impacting on the Atlantic Ocean, and there the climate are changing very vastly, and now we have to think about the sustainable practices of development in the oceans. So and that's why, because our future generation can also drain the resources from the Atlantic Ocean, it's not, and that's why the America banned the offshore drilling in the Atlantic Ocean. By the 2032 America will not will not contain drilling in the oceans. And we should know that it's our health which is our prosperity, and the nature which gives the God to us, and we should preserve it. And so thank you.
Yes, Captain. So your part is history.
Yes, sir.
How history of Atlantic Ocean is interrelated with Indian Ocean?
So they are very different history of the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, because they are both ocean are be the under the continents, under be the boundary of the continents, be the different, like the Pacific Ocean is they all know about the world first largest ocean in the world. So, but Atlantic Ocean is the second largest ocean in the world. But there be the different history. I know the firstly the relatable history different, sir.
Relation of old Pangea, Indian Ocean and Atlantic Ocean once.
Marine,
same.
marine. I don't know, sir.
Old, the oldest land mass was Pangea. No?
Okay, yeah, yes, sir. Pangea,
We study about Pangea.
subcontinent Pangea. Yes, sir. The split of the tectonic plate Pangea is. Yes.
Okay, anyway. So you tell me the role of Atlantic Ocean
Yes, sir.
in conquering America,
Okay.
in expanding America from Europe.
Europe,
So, as you have mentioned in your presentation, in your topic, that Christopher Columbus
yes, sir.
went from Europe to America.
Yes, sir.
That's why I'm asking you how Atlantic Oceans gave opportunity to Europe to conquer America.
Firstly, the role of Atlantic Ocean is the America and the Europe is very crucial, very important role, because the Christopher Columbus to be moved in the Europe in America, because there are lots of things be researched. Firstly, the trading and commerce ideas, and the also.
Anyway, you tell me the some currents of Atlantic
Yeah,
Ocean.
yes.
some current,
Okay, sir.
oceanic current.
Oceanic current.
Yes.
Wave, sir, firstly, the oceanic currents means to wave flow in the oceans and to generate the heats, temperatures, and also impact the Eastern European continents, the large amount of the heats to generate in the Atlantic Ocean. That's a very great reason
Can
of
you name some of the currents?
currents, oceanic currents.
Yes, oceanic currents that are present in Atlantic Ocean. Like California current.
Yes.
You haven't studied about current?
Yes, I have studied all
Okay.
contents.
Next member. So, Rohit, what is the topic?
Physical feature.
Physical features. So, I'm not going to ask you about the physical features. You tell me how Atlantic Ocean contributes India in present time.
The Atlantic Ocean contributes India's in present time many things, just like trade system and trade system. When India trade with the Atlantic Ocean, India mm, many profits
Correct,
comes.
correct, correct.
And in natural just like in natural resources, fish, crude oils, and many things, India's.
Next member. Next member. I see so many slide. Climate change.
Yes.
So tell me why climate change is important for Atlantic Ocean.
Firstly, climate change is im-
Yes.
climate change firstly impacting and impacting the Atlantic Ocean and rising sea levels, melting ice sheets to Atlantic Ocean.
So you tell me what are the major concerns of Atlantic Ocean? What are the problems that our Atlantic Oceans are facing nowadays related to climate change?
Firstly, weakening a Gulf Stream. Climate change weakening a Gulf Stream.
What is a Gulf Stream? Is it current?
Yes, correct.
So why Gulf Stream is very important for maintaining the purity of Atlantic Ocean? And if Gulf Stream is weakening, then why we should worry about the Atlantic Ocean?
Gulf Stream because Europe cold and America too hot temperature.
Okay, what have you learned from your presentation?
Firstly, I am all over research and learning to PPT reports, communication skills.
Next member. By the way, there is a slight wrong in your. That must be food webs, not food webs. Team captain. There must be a food web. WEB, not WAVES. Okay. Environmental issues.
Yes.
Tell me the environmental issues of Atlantic Ocean.
Because issue is Atlantic Ocean is very fastly increased. Human activities control plastic pollution and overfishing and climate change.
Why overfishing is negative for any ocean like Atlantic? Why overfishing is not good?
Because overfishing is overload fishes and
if we kill lot of fishes, what will happen? What will happen? Why overfishing is a major problem, not only for your Atlantic, but for Indian Ocean also, for Pacific Ocean also. It's a really a concern. So why overfishing? We give more focus on overfishing.
Because overfishing is
What have you learned from? Okay, you can come. You can come.
Overfishing is the large amount because they are ecological. Overfishing in the large amount because their ecological disbalance, because their ecosystem of the depends on the fish, because the fish is the some great role of the Atlantic oceans, and there are some fish marine animals are dependent on the others to be the large amount of the fishings are to be the disbalance of the ecosystems. That's the reason of the overfishing.
So what have you learned from your presentation?
learning for report and PPT, and learning for skills.
Next member. Okay. We have covered the facts and figures of Atlantic Ocean.
Yes, sir.
So why Amazon River is very important, not for Brazil, not for Atlantic coast, but it's very important for world also. Why?
World's largest river, Amazon, and flow into the Atlantic Ocean.
So, if any largest river flow into the Atlantic Ocean, what it contributes? What is the big point of it? Why it is important for world? Because it possesses lot of forest area. And Amazon forest is the lungs of the world. Lungs of the world. What is the role of lungs? To filter carbon dioxide, to take oxygen. Is to
Yes.
give oxygen and to take out carbon dioxide. That is the role played by Amazon forest. Fine. And Amazon forest is also known for biodiversity. That's why Amazon river is very important. So, you tell me what have you learned from your presentation?
Uh, Development skill and make to PPT and reports and researching.
Next member. Your slide is so impressive. Actually, you have covered in a detail. This is the way one should give presentation. I really impressed by your data, your facts. So, I'm not going to ask you about your facts and figures because you have covered beautifully. So, you tell me, and you have covered, yes, sir. You have covered onshore drilling also and offshore drilling also. Can you tell me the some companies that are associated with the offshore drilling in Atlantic Ocean?
In Atlantic Ocean. In Atlantic Ocean offshore drilling companies I don't know, but the main countries are which are that side.
Yes, you can.
So Brazil is the most drilling country now. In last year or in 2022, it drills around 50% of the crude oil from the Atlantic Ocean. America didn't drill because they are concerned about the environmental impact on the drillings. So they banned their offshore drilling till 2032.
Okay, fine. So, can you tell me why we get such a beautiful resources inside the Atlantic Ocean? What is the reason?
Reason geologically because it's I think it's the very cold oceans in worlds, and there is many species are which is rarely found in any other oceans, and the fishing industry have the opportunities to develop in that ocean because of the many fisheries are found there.
Okay, can you tell me some measures through which we can solve the problems of Atlantic Ocean? Major problems of Atlantic Ocean.
We can think about the sustainable developments like we can produce electric renewable energy resources which are electric tidal waves. We can develop that, and we should, like America, also follow that. We should ban for sometimes the drillings in the oceans, and cruise tourism is also thinking about this impact.
Close tourism. Close tourism.
Cruise tourism.
Okay.
Cruise tourism.
Cruise tourism.
Cruise. So that's are also operating time to time seasonality. So they are also now doing the, they are giving their time.
Very good. Final conclusion. Anyone? Final conclusion.
Firstly, thank you to sir and dear all are my brother and sisters and my parents to supporting for this presentations. So presentation is a team efforts game, and they all my team members are to be effort very great, and they're all my members are very wonderful learning about the presentation. I am also learn about too many things in this presentation, and the presentation is one kind of things to one kind so of skills to be the learned in the grow in the very wonderful in the future. So with a very wonderful presentation for my teammates. Thank you to all.
Clap for them.